Okay. All right. Good morning, everyone. I'm calling this meeting of the Public Safety Communications Task Force to order. It is 11:16 on June 11th, 2025, and I'm Barbara Neal. As a reminder, the meeting's being recorded, and that recording will be posted to the task force webpage following the meeting. We'll start with a roll call of task force members. Please verbally acknowledge your presence when I call your name. Dan Batesy.
Here.
Paul White.
I'm here.
Ron Kumitz.
I am present.
Great. Jim Mack.
Here.
Okay. Mike Dungis. Morning.
Here. Good morning.
Thank you. And
sorry, I couldn't come off mute fast enough.
Yeah, that's okay. I don't see Michael Wright on the call. So noted. Jen Morrison is here as well, but mentioned before the meeting started that Dan is going to serve as the official DPS representative for the meeting. So good morning, Commissioner. Okay. There she is. And also joining us, of course, is Emily Mullaney from the Department of Public Safety as our administrative support, and our project management partners, Rick and Dom from Televate. Good morning.
Morning.
And I see from Mission Critical Partners, we have Jason Malloy. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning.
And I do see, let's see, I see a number I don't recognize, ends in 0805.
Yes, good morning. My name is Sharon Rousseau, and I'm from EF Johnson, and I'm here to kind of listen because I've been looking at some of your meeting minutes because they concern public safety and the folks of the state of Vermont, and I did attend some of your meetings, and so I think the last session you had really dug deep into something that Corey Chase was very passionate about, and so I just wanted to hear for the follow-up.
Okay, great. And I didn't catch your first name. Is it Sharon?
Yep, it's Sharon.
Sharon. Okay. There'll be an opportunity for public comment in just a few minutes. So if you'd like to do that, that'll be fine. I see Senator Renner is also on the call.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Recent Senator, recent member of JITAC.
Nice to see you. And Martha Morse, could you introduce yourself and your affiliation?
Sure. Good morning, Martha Morse from Hartford Police Department.
Glad you're here. Okay, I think that covers everyone. So we'll move on to approval of the agenda, which was distributed to task force members by email. It's also available on the webpage. Do task force members have any proposed changes to the agenda?
I just have a question. We
Sure.
were going to, I believe, have some follow-up to last meeting's discussion about Corey's proposal, if it's reached the level of being a proposal yet. So I didn't know, do we want to take that up under project updates or new business, or do we need to add an item to the agenda?
I think we could do that under project updates, unless someone disagrees.
And that's fine with me.
Okay. Great. All right, then. So is there, let's see, there are no changes to the agenda, so we will consider the agenda approved and move on to approval of the minutes. These would be the minutes from the May 21st meeting. That's regular meeting number 51. Are there any changes needed to these minutes? Okay, is there a motion then to approve the minutes from May 21st?
So moved.
Make a motion to accept them as written.
Okay, so I have two motions. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Okay.
Second.
Okay, thank you, Jim. Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor of approving the minutes from May 21st, raise your hand or indicate by saying aye. All righty. I see all task force members' hands are up. So the minutes are approved for the May 21st meeting. Now we're on to public comment. So I will just call on the folks that are here from the public and see if you have anything you'd like to share. Let's start with Sharon.
Sure. I don't think I have anything to share. I would say more than curious to see, how it plays out with what the state folks need and what Corey's need is, and an understanding of where the state is when it comes to the UHF portion of it, the VHF portion of it, and what's the best from communication system from now into the future. I understand that there's a lot of disparate systems out there. I understand you've got ones for the state police, you've got UTAC, you've got VTAC, there's a plethora. You could probably, like your last meeting, talk about them in detail. But I'm just wondering how you move forward into the future from a budget standpoint, from a safety standpoint. And I think that's what everyone was kind of talking about last week, is how do you allocate the right funds for the right system moving forward that gets everyone onto something that's going to provide the necessary coverage and features that make a system go from now into the future. And so that, when you're adding on to something like that, it's easy, not a forklift.
Mm-hmm. Okay, appreciate those comments and hope you'll listen in on the discussion and give us your feedback and input on how you think we're doing in all those categories as well. So thanks for joining us. Paul, I see your hand up.
Just have a quick, I missed when Sharon first introduced herself, I missed it. Are you just representing just a member of the general public, or are you representing some entity? I didn't catch it. Or if somebody else heard what she said earlier.
Paul, she introduced herself as representing EF Johnson, which is a radio vendor.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Okay, great. Senator Renner, do you have anything to share today?
Yes, good morning. I had written to Co-Chair Batsy recently asking that the subcommittee meetings be warned and recorded for an abundance of transparency. I understand they probably won't have a quorum of the task force present, but I'd really like to see the public have the opportunity to watch what has been discussed. Thanks.
Okay, thank you for that. Martha Morse.
No real comments. I was just kind of tuning in today. It's been a little while since I've kept track of what was going on. I was just trying to get back up to speed.
Okay, great. Glad you're here. And I see Liz Tracy joined us as well. Liz, do you have any comments for us today? If you're speaking, you're muted.
Barb, I do know she's dispatching, so she may just be listening.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Okay, I think I covered everyone. No other members of the public here. So we will move on to project updates. Dom, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you, Barb, and good morning, everyone. Updates with regards to the project. As everyone knows, we have published the documents that were planned, including the inventory and assessment report and the system planning report. They have been published and are now available on the task force website. Our focus is turning towards a detailed evaluation of the system planning document and reviewing the various sections of that and looking at the potential options for improvement in dispatch operations among the various tasks and activities there. We have put together a schedule to do that. I'll share our schedule here. We are breaking it down into different sections of the report, which there are 7 primary sections looking at organic and inorganic approaches to regionalization and governance. Those are the 2 that we are addressing initially. and we are working to set up meetings to begin those. We have identified 3 task force members for each of these groups or subcommittees, and you'll see the task force participants are identified there, and you know who you are. I know Rick has been working diligently to try and coordinate everyone's schedule and schedule our first meeting. Rick, I believe we have tomorrow set up for the organic and inorganic team to meet. And then we are also trying to get a meeting scheduled for governance this week. Televate
That's
has
correct.
developed.
Yeah, just follow. That's correct. I'll be reaching out after the session to the members of the governance committee to organize a schedule, a day and time for that. So we were able to confirm for the first session for the inorganic and organic regionalization approach. So you'll be seeing an email from me a little later today, everyone.
And Televate has developed PowerPoint presentations to facilitate the discussion. We have taken excerpts from the system planning report developed by MCP, and have also developed the description of the problem statement, if you will, or the current approach to these various areas and potential options for improvement. And we'll start out with an initial meeting, and we'll identify potentially other stakeholders who would be potentially invited to join and provide their input. Following those 2 sections, which are moving concurrently, we will move into the technology and shared systems based regionalization activities, what's referred to as Tier 2 in the report, and then also Tier 3 regionalization based on policy and operations. Those 2 will begin. We will begin development of content to facilitate those meetings, which will start in July. And then, as shown here, we will also move into, in the August timeframe, move into the physical or facilities-based regionalization discussion. We anticipate that one to be a potentially extended, lively and extended discussion. We have allocated significant time for that. Following that, once we have at least initial recommendations from all of these areas from the task force subcommittees, we'll look further into options for funding, cost sharing, and then the timeline. That's where our activities have been focused on, and that's where we are in our schedule. And I'll continue to update that schedule as we have our status updates moving forward.
Okay. Thank you, Dom. I want to clarify one thing. My understanding is these groups that we're going to be working on the various sections of the report were working groups, not subcommittees of the task force. I would like to have a conversation with Dan Batesy and Paul White maybe after this call. Perhaps I missed something in the discussion, but we want to make sure we identify the group appropriately.
Okay.
Which could
Yes,
open
my
up.
apologies. That may have been a slip on my part, but
Okay.
yes, I believe a task group is probably a more accurate description of these groups.
Okay, so let's, Dan and Paul, maybe if you could stay on a minute or 2 after the meeting ends, and this would address Senator Renner's question as well, I believe. Commissioner Morrison.
Yeah, I just want to pop in and say the purpose of assigning 3 task force members was to ensure that homework is done and an overview of each of the sections, like a high level overview is presented at the meeting. It's not to make any decisions. The whole purpose is for accountability, for lack of a better word, for ensuring that all task force members are taking that deep dive into various different parts of the report. And so the 3 people per section were really designed just to put together that high level overview to present at the designated meeting. All discussion and all decisions would be made in the public meeting. There would not be decisions made by that small subcommittee. So I have to say, from a logistics standpoint of staffing those prep meetings, for lack of a better word, that would be almost impossible for DPS to be able to go through the administrative process of warning meetings and taking
Yeah.
minutes and putting the video up there. It was never intended to be a decision-making process at all.
Okay, that's good feedback and kind of brings me back to where I was in the thoughts. So we'll meet Dan and Paul after the meeting, and if anything needs to change course, we'll get the word out. So, okay. So, Dom, thank you for the update. And Jason, do you have anything to add to the project updates?
Not at this time. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. All right, then at this point, I'm going to hand it over to Dan to talk about the follow-up item from Corey Chase's presentation last time we met. Go ahead, Dan.
Thanks, Barb. All right. Good morning, everybody. I wanted to take this opportunity to follow up with the conversation we had a couple of weeks ago regarding the Radio Technology Service Division and their draft. It wasn't even a proposal back then of the creation of a proposal to build a VHF network. Now that work would coincide, as we discussed, with some work that we're doing to the UHF network, and would be an opportune time to be able to do some of the logistical side of it and not have to recreate it if indeed it became a reality later on down the road. I sent out this morning what would be a draft proposal. This would be the first time we've ever actually put pen to paper to give you more substantive details. It is not a proposal yet, to clarify, right? So we are not petitioning this group. We're not asking them for permission yet. All we want is feedback on what is now going to be a more substantive piece to decide whether this is actually something that we want to carry forward and make it a real proposal. So what I'd ask all of you to do is take a look at it. I know that over the course of the last couple of weeks, a couple of you have asked for more detail, asked for an opportunity to chime in with more feedback. So now is the time to do just that. Take a look. I provided in the email Corey Chase's email address. Please submit any technical questions you have to him and any feedback you might offer to him. And what we plan to do, pending that feedback, and I'd like to try to wrap this up in the next 2 weeks. So if you have an opportunity to do this before the next meeting, I'd appreciate that. What we'd like to do is take that feedback and then take a step back with this draft and say, based upon this feedback, it makes sense, or based upon this feedback, it doesn't make sense. And then at that point, determine whether this will become a real proposal that we put in front of this committee and say, we'd like to do this. So that's kind of where we are. I'm also happy to answer any questions on, I have no capability to answer technical questions on this right now, but in terms of the process, I'm happy to answer any questions you might have right now.
So I have a quick question. Is it most beneficial to get feedback from individual task force members, or are you looking for a task force consensus on feedback we might give you? Because
I think it would be more beneficial to get individual feedback on this, mostly because what I want to hear from the big pieces that I want to hear from is, boy, this is a bad idea, Dan, or I really like this idea, it makes a lot of sense. And also to make sure that we have the opportunity to answer your technical questions. I know many of you have a technical background that I do not share. I want to make sure I've connected you with Corey to answer any of those specific pieces, so that if that becomes a piece of what your opinion is about the proposal, that we've covered that before we get down that line. I think at that point, once we have that, I think we'll be able to see a consensus, Barb. But I don't think I need a formal consensus before we make it into an actual proposal.
That makes sense, because then the task force could consider the final proposal.
Yeah,
And
then once we
yeah.
have that, we can massage it and talk about what your technical challenges bring up and all those things. And then we can put the proposal before you and say, now we want a real discussion on it. Right now, this is just a philosophical musing at this point.
Okay.
It is still not a proposal. It is still just a draft. We're not talking about anything we're not asking you to make any decisions today or other than just to give us some feedback.
Okay, that sounds good. And the other question I would have is, are you asking the same of Rick and Dom? I know from a technical
Yes.
perspective, I'm not going to be able to offer you much, but I bet they can.
Yeah.
Okay,
In fact,
Okay.
I sent them the email as well.
great. Okay,
Yes, we have that. Thank you.
Any
One
other questions?
clarification, Dan, you mentioned desire for feedback within the next 2 weeks before the next meeting. Actually, due to our schedule, we have a meeting next week, so
Oh,
we're
that's
kind
right,
of we're kind of off
Yeah,
for
that's right.
the moment. So just to clarify that.
Yeah, I don't think we necessarily need to have it wrapped up by next week. I think, I don't want to put this on anybody's plate with only a week to look at it and read it. And, by the way, I don't think we're not looking for feedback at a technical level that would require a lot of research or digging. I think what we're looking for is more of a gut reaction, but acknowledging that some of you may have more complex technical questions that we want to give you a little bit of room to navigate. So I would say let's keep it at the 2 week mark. If we want to talk about it, if we have a bulk of feedback in for action next week, I guess we theoretically could get into it, but I think that might be making it a little tight for many of you.
Okay, good. Any other questions or comments for Dan? Okay. Sounds like the homework assignment is understood.
And if anybody did not get that email, I did send it out this morning. Or if anybody would like another copy or that sort of thing, just let me know and I'll be glad to share it with you.
Great. Sounds good. Okay, is there anything else under project updates that we need to discuss? All right. Moving on then, executive session, if needed, is the next agenda item. We don't need one today, so we will jump to new business. Is there any new business for today? No. Okay. Excellent. Then we will confirm the next meeting date and get ready to adjourn. So we are on schedule to have another meeting next Wednesday, which will actually put us back, I believe, on our regular cadence. So we'll meet again next Wednesday and then start the 2 week cadence up again. So having said that, thank you all for your participation today. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Ron. Seconded by Jim. Thank you. Okay, all in favor of adjourning for today, raise your hand or signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Excellent. Okay, if Paul and Dan could stay on the line, thank you to everybody else, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a good
Bye-bye.
day.
Thank you. Yeah. Barb, would you like Televate to
Yes,
stay on?
yeah, Dom, why don't you stay?